The Haunting of Ravenwood Manor. It was a dark and stormy night when the Johnson family arrived at Ravenwood Manor. The old mansion had been in the Johnson family for generations, but had been left abandoned for years. The family had decided to renovate the house and move in, hoping to restore it to its former glory. As they pulled up to the front of the house, they could see that it was in a state of disrepair. The shutters were hanging off the windows, the paint was peeling, and the garden was overgrown. But despite its dilapidated appearance, the family was excited to begin their new life in Ravenwood Manor. As they entered the house, they could hear the creaking of the floorboards beneath their feet. The musty smell of old furniture and damp walls filled their nostrils. They set to work cleaning up the house and making it habitable once again. But as they began to settle in, strange things started happening. Doors would open and close on their own, footsteps could be heard in empty rooms, and the family would wake up to find objects moved or missing. They tried to brush it off as their imagination, but they couldn't ignore the feeling that they were not alone in the house. One night, as the family was sitting in the living room, they heard a faint whispering coming from upstairs. They couldn't make out what was being said, but it sent chills down their spines. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out, leaving them in complete darkness. They could hear the sound of footsteps coming down the stairs towards them, but when they turned on their flashlights, there was nobody there. The family started to feel uneasy and decided to hire a paranormal investigator to see if there was anything supernatural going on. The investigator arrived and set up his equipment, determined to get to the bottom of the strange occurrences in Ravenwood Manor. As he began his investigation, he could feel a heavy presence in the house. He could sense that the house was haunted by a malevolent spirit that was not at peace. He tried to communicate with the spirit, but it seemed to become more aggressive as he did so. The family grew more and more frightened as the activity in the house increased. They would hear voices calling out their names, they would see shadows moving in the corners of their eyes, and they would feel cold spots in the house that seemed to move around. One day, the family decided to explore the basement of the house, which had been locked up since they had moved in. As they descended the stairs, they could feel a sense of foreboding in the air. The basement was damp and musty, with cobwebs hanging from the ceiling. As they walked deeper into the basement, they found a small room that was locked from the outside. As they opened the door, they could see that the room had been used as a prison cell. There were chains hanging from the walls and an old metal cot in the corner. As they explored the room, they heard the sound of something scratching against the walls. They turned to leave, but the door had locked behind them. The family was trapped in the basement, with no way out. They could hear the sound of something moving towards them, and the scratching sound grew louder and more frantic. Suddenly, the door opened, and they were able to escape. They decided to leave Ravenwood Manor, realizing that it was too dangerous to stay. But as they were packing up their belongings, they discovered a hidden room in the attic. The room was filled with old books, dusty mirrors, and strange symbols etched into the walls. As they read through the books, they found that the symbols were part of a ritual to summon a powerful demon. The demon was said to grant wishes to those who summoned it, but at a great cost. The family realized that the previous owners of the house must have attempted to summon the demon, and the malevolent spirit that haunted the house was a result of their failed attempt. The family decided to perform the ritual, hoping that it would banish the spirit from the house once and for all. They gathered the necessary ingredients and began the ritual, following the instructions in the books they had found. As they chanted the words, they could feel the presence of the demon growing stronger. The candles flickered and went out, and the room was plunged into darkness. They heard the sound of something moving towards them, and they could feel a cold breath on the back of their necks. Suddenly, the demon appeared before them. It was a massive creature with horns and black wings, and its eyes glowed with a sinister light. The family could feel its power, and they knew that they had made a terrible mistake. The demon offered to grant them their deepest desires, but at a great cost. The family knew that they could not trust the demon, and they refused its offer. The demon grew angry and attacked them, causing the walls of the attic to shake and crumble. The family managed to escape the attic, but the house was destroyed in the process. They realized that they had been foolish to try and summon the demon, and they vowed never to meddle in the supernatural again. Years later, the family still remembers the haunting of Ravenwood Manor. They warn others to stay away from the house, as it is still said to be haunted by the malevolent spirit and the demon that they summoned. The family learned that some secrets are better left buried, and that some doors should never be opened.